It is 7:01, middle of the week. Here we are. Maybe just waking up. You can also see us if you want to on our mid-morning show coffee break.
You can see us.
I'm Deb, and Gerad Hall's here, and Jeremy Jones, and Ken is off today, but we're glad you're along as we talk this morning about our calling. We're actually doing this all this week because we have, kind of the emphasis on listening to God and hearing what he has for us in the next step. And boy, we really need to be on our knees listening to God right now in our lives every day.
Obedience is often a missing step.
Mm-hmm. And so if you have some thoughts on that or kind of want to share your journey and how God has led you, it could really be an encouragement to someone else who's listening in this morning that maybe is in the same situation or feeling kind of stuck. And you might help them, maybe be that little nudge for them this morning.
Deb, what do you do when you feel stuck?
What do I do when I feel stuck? Well, I think one of the main things I do is read God's word, go to the Bible and pray and just ask God, help me see the next opportunity, whatever that is. So, and sometimes talking with friends,
yes.
Depending, if I have the opportunity to do that, friends can be a real help too.
So you're stuck, you got a big Bible, 66 books.
Mm-hmm.
Where is that Bible falling open to for you?
Wherever I'm at.
Wherever you're at and you're reading.
I just ask God to use it in my life. If I'm like right now, we're reading through the Bible, so it would be Ezekiel, and even this morning, his passage about having a new spirit, a new heart, and taking that heart of stone and making a heart of flesh. And I pray, God, my heart's stone a lot of times. I get hardened by the world. Please help my heart be a heart of flesh. Praying like that.
Sure.
And I think,
absolutely,
that opens you up to, following him for that day. And sometimes it is just a moment by moment thing because you are so discouraged you can't see very far in front of you. But
Andrew Murray wrote a book called Absolute Surrender.
Mm-hmm.
So this is this old book,
Mm-hmm.
but I think what's interesting, it's written in the 19th century, and the reason why it was written is because the acknowledgement is that the greatest thing that the church needs is people who are absolutely surrendered to the Lord. And one of the things that inspired Moody, D.L. Moody, is when he heard a mentor in his life share that the world is yet to see what it looks like when a man is fully surrendered to the will of God, and that drove Moody's life and his ministry is to try to be that life that's fully surrendered to the will of God. And I think what I hear you saying is that when you feel stuck, there's a necessity to come back to the Lord and surrender it. And so through his word and through prayer, you're going, okay, Lord, this is yours. What do you want to do with it? That's the next step, is going, it's yours. So what do you want to do in surrendering it back to them?
I find stuckness is in a large part due because I'm only thinking of myself.
And we can't be surrendered to the Lord's will, right? When
I'm in my own head.
Yeah.
And so I'm trying to figure it out.
Yep.
And I can't figure it out. And the older I get, the less I can figure it out. It just feels like, it's too complicated.
That's humility, though. I mean, when you're young, you're like, I'll fix it, and that's pride. And, the Lord has a way of beating that out of us over time. So.
Yeah. So how about you? We want to hear your story and maybe even some tips to surrendering or tips to getting past the stuckness in your life. Phone number 800-221-9356. And also join us on Facebook this morning. Here's Casting Crowns. We sure need each other in this journey. Here's the song, If We Are the Body, on Moody Radio, Quad Cities. That was a really hard question to answer.
Well, I just thought,
put me on the spot.
Figure as long as we're on air, having a conversation, that Jeremy would enjoy us being, fun and off the cuff, asking challenging theological and spiritual questions. So, what would you like to do with our mid-morning coffee break?
Well, okay, we were talking about the bookmobile.
Yes.
Okay, so that's coming next week.
Yes.
To either Edgewood Church on Tuesday or Quorum Day on Thursday.
Yes.
But I thought it'd be kind of fun to have people put down, if you were to write a book on your life right now, what would the title be? Or what book do you think you would need? You could do that way too.
Okay.
Like I was thinking of the book, I Need a Hug.
Aw. Yeah, the social distancing. Yeah, it's true. Yeah. Did you see that video of those two young cousins who got to greet each other for the first time after the shutdown? And they hugged, and it was all like fun and whimsical, but then like they both ended up like breaking down and like weeping. I mean, they were like 5-year-olds, cousins, and they hugged, and it was like, oh yeah, and then they realized what they had missed in that warmth, and they just started sobbing as they were just like grasping onto each other. It was a powerful scene, and yeah, one that was a sharp reminder of the importance of being connected physically. So.
So what would your book be? I mean, what would your book be?
My book?
Yeah. What would yours be?
If I wrote a book on my life right now? I think I'm in a phase of life where I'm parenting young boys, and I think the title of my book is "Why Won't You Lift the Toilet Seat?" Missed opportunities. That would be the subtitle.
That is good. Okay, why won't you lift? I gotta write this down.
It's just never thought about this before. This is just the first thing that.
Oh, so we have some people to welcome though this morning.
Yeah. Why won't you?
Jordan says he feels called to keep sharing the gospel.
Amen,
so thankful
Jordan.
he does that. Brenda says, welcome to you.
Oh, thanks, Brenda.
Thanks for listening and watching. And Heidi says, I find comfort in sharing my fears with siblings and cries, drawing strength from each other, praying for each other, and lifting one another up, realizing what choice we do have. God is already there. Love it. Love it. That's so wise. Such good counsel right there, Heidi. Thanks so much for that. Let's see. Elena also is here saying good morning, and Wanda's here. Good morning, Wanda. Just scrolling down my list of people that are joining with us, and we're just glad you're here. And if you had a book that you could write right now on what you're going through, what would be the title be? I mean, and we're going to give away a whole bunch of books next week. So if yours was in the stack, what would the title be? Mine is I Need a Hug.
Mine's 5 seconds.
That's Casting Crowns If We Are the Body here at Moody Radio Quad Cities. And that is such a good song to consider our calling, actually, because we do need other people.
Yes, we do.
We do need other people to give us insight as to maybe how God is leading us. Look, you shared your story about how you received that help from Carl Knudsen, that encouragement. I shared story that I had some encouragement from my choir director. Jeremy, we haven't heard from you yet.
We would like to hear from you, Jeremy. How did the Lord stack the dominoes for you?
Well, I was going to school, and I had the opportunity to intern here at Moody Radio for about 4 weeks. Probably maybe fudged the internship a little bit as far as time-wise. Probably should have had a bit more time, but it was still a great opportunity to come in, meet Ken and Deb, and see what a radio station looks like. And a few months later, I was getting near the end of my tenure in college, and I sent out a social media post that just kind of talked about how it was all becoming real, at which point I actually had our station manager reach out and say, hey, there's a new position. We'll have you work like two days a month. But if you'd be interested, we can have you join us there. So I followed up with that, ended up getting the job, worked with Moody Radio 2 days a month for about a year. And then I ended up moving away for a year, moved back to town I went to college in with some friends. And then they, of course, went their separate ways. So I came back. And a few months after I got back, I was at my home church. And my station manager was actually the guest preacher that day. So I went over to say hello, see how he was doing, and he informed me that the following day there would be a new position at Moody Radio that would be opening up, and it would be a combination of 2 different jobs, and so it would be part-time, and it would be 5 days a week. And so he said, you should apply. And I figure, well, I mean, you're the guy opening up this position.
Right.
I should probably apply. And that was about 5 years ago. 5 years ago, last June or May.
And he picked a good person for the job. Jeremy does a great job.
Yes, he does.
So I'm glad that worked out the way. But once again, there was a person involved
That's right.
God used to encourage him to apply and, to kind of see in him something that could be plugged in here.
As I'm thinking about this, I'm remembering the first time I was ever in the studio with Jeremy on the board. And we were in the other studio while this one was being renovated. And all of the roads around this was being under construction. And I was like 45 minutes late because every path I would take, I would get rerouted.
It's like a bad dream.
It was a bad dream. It was like I had just enough time when I started this to get here, and it was like rerouted. And I went around, and I came another way, and it was like no dice. And I was like, I called you guys. I was like, how do I get to you? How do I do it? And I came in, and Jeremy looked at me like, what is this guy doing? We don't have time for this. This is like 45 minutes after a scheduled interview. Get this bum out of here. You didn't say it, but it's what your eyes communicated to me.
I feel like I would have had more grace because my first day that I started here, I came in probably about 35 minutes late because I came in the week before to touch base with everything, get everything settled. And the following week is when that road construction started.
Oh.
They always tell you to check the route, make sure you can make it to work. And I did.
Right.
And within that week, they started working on an intersection on Highway 6.
That was it.
I had to reroute like all the way to the airport to get around. And so I feel like I would have sympathized with you more.
Yes. But I think you were like, I've already lived through this. Good luck, Chief. Yeah. Well, thanks for sharing that story, Jimmy. That was very encouraging. And I'm so glad that Jason made that offer to you.
Yeah, definitely. So if you have a story you want to share, phone number 800-221-9356. Here's We Are Messengers. Song is Love. It's one to groove to this morning.
So, Jeremy, what else is in your book, 5 Seconds?
That wouldn't actually be my book.
Okay.
If it was this point in my life, maybe a few tender words, life and dating during quarantine.
You know what? There's a lot of people who would want to read that book.
I really think you should go for that one. That is good.
I think there's a good audience for that book right now.
I do too.
Yeah.
Do you know that next week is National Singles Week? I just wanted to let you know. I read that yesterday.
We get a week?
You can get a whole week. So that's the time to release your idea.
That's a quick turnaround for writing a book. But since you can release digital content on Amazon now, you can publish on Amazon now. You could do it.
Just release your idea. Just say, hey, this is what I got.
Yeah. I mean,
any takers,
Yeah, it's like a memoir, a testimonial. It's yeah. And it's a whole week, so I mean, you had till Friday technically.
What maybe I should do as a blog? Do blog updates that later get collected into a book.
You could vlog the entire week.
I could vlog a few tender words. Oh
yes.
my.
Yeah, that is a great idea. It might open up another opportunity.
I can promise I'd watch at least the first 30 seconds of the first video and then decide where I go from there.
Maybe. I normally try to avoid any dating topics on the air because Deb latches onto it. She's like, he opened the door.
Well, she is a mother. She is a mother.
That is right.
She is invested in your future, Jeremy. You are one of her kin.
All right, so Heidi has a book title for us.
Good.
Okay, Heidi says, Seeking Light Walking Through the Valley.
Mm.
I think that title for me. So, and yeah, that reminds me kind of yesterday's devotional with Jason on Psalm 23. Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, that Psalm 23 reminds us that he's there with us when we're walking through the valley, and that he does give us
3 seconds.
That light on our path. That is We Are Messengers and Love here at Moody Radio Quad Cities. So I'm going to take what we're talking about on Facebook Live and bring it over here to On Air.
Okay.
Because next week we're going to do our bookmobile. We're going to be out and we're going to be giving away books. So I thought it'd be fun. What would be the title of your book if you were to release a book on your life this week? What would be the title?
And what would be your title, Deb?
I Need a Hug. And yours was?
Why won't you lift the toilet seat?
and
go with the subtitle.
Missed opportunities.
Okay. And Jeremy, how about yours?
A Few Tender Words, Life and Dating During Quarantine.
And Jeremy's actually starting a vlog next week on this. He's going to skip the book. He's going to go right to documenting his life. So we're excited for what happens.
Because next week is Singles Week.
Yes.
So there, in case you wanted to know. But
yes.
If you were to write a book, what would it be on your life right now? You can call or text 800-221-9356 or comment on our Facebook Live mid-morning show coffee break.
I can't vlog mine. I can't. It's not.
No, I don't think so.
No. Just be like emojis, little emojis everywhere.
I know.
Yeah, that doesn't need to happen.
Okay, so Heidi says 101 ways to prepare manna.
It works on a couple levels. I like that.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
That's good. So, Deb, what gave you the idea of the bookmobile?
The idea came from the fact that I have so many books that I get sent. You would not believe the packages I open every week. I mean, of the writing of books, there is no end. There's so many books, but they're not doing any good on my shelf.
And you can't give them away fast enough, right?
I can't give them away fast enough, and they're good books.
Yes.
They need to be in the hands of people who God can use those books in their life. And so that's what gave me the idea.
I think that's
a way to be a ministry here in the community, and let's not hoard this. You know?
That's great. It does no good to have unread books on a bookshelf.
No, it doesn't. And there's no way I'll ever make it through.
Well, there's not enough hours in the day.
No, there are not.
Now, speaking of that, did you guys find that you did more reading or less reading during the shutdown?
I have got to say, I would like to say I did more reading, but I've been more nervous during the shutdown. So to sit down and relax, sometimes I just would rather like put together a puzzle or did other things, I think.
Right, something that's a little bit more distracting.
Yeah. It's 7:20 here at Moody Radio Quad Cities, and we're talking about that book that you'd write if, it was written on your life today. And I think we have someone on the line. Carolyn is with us this morning. Hey, Carolyn, good morning.
Good morning.
How are you today?
I'm great.
Good. So what would be your book title?
Just Me.
Just Me. And can you explain more why that would be the title?
It would just be about me and the struggles I went through during my lifetime, Some of them were big, some were small, and some was even bigger than that.
So if you were to tell us maybe one thing that God has really taught you through all those, well, what piece of wisdom could you give us this morning?
Oh, my goodness. I suppose, because I look in the mirror and I said, okay, I'm just me, just bless the day and go on.
And God's with us there. So,
Oh, amen.
Amen. I'm so thankful for that. Hey, Carolyn, we're thankful for your friendship. Thanks for calling in this morning.
Okay, do good.
Have a great day. All right. How about you? What would the title of your book be? 800-221-9356. Here's Lincoln Brewster, No One Like Our God on Moody Radio, Quad Cities. Just me. I like it. Mm-hmm.
Ron got a hold of us. He said, "What are you laughing at?" But he wanted to stipulate without the question mark.
That's what we're laughing at, Ron. There's no question mark. I find that humorous. Yeah.
Well, it's been kind of fun to think about that. It'd be kind of a fun thing to talk about around your dinner table, too, with your kids. Hey, if today was a book, what would the title of your book be?
Yeah, I feel like my oldest one, he's 7. We'd probably have some type of response. After that, the 4-year-old, it gets a little dicey, and Steele's, not 2 yet. So it's like, he learned the word cookie yesterday, though, so that might be the title of his book.
Ooh, cookie with an exclamation mark.
Yes. Yeah.
I like it.
Living your best life now.
I love it.
Yeah.
Your story kind of reminds me of a flight I was on one time where I was behind this little kid who came up with this little phrase, and people started giggling. So he got louder and louder, and he used it in everything. I'm not going to repeat it because it's probably not appropriate. It had chicken in it, but
now I was like a little curious, but you baited the hook so well that I'm super curious.
But anyway, because people were chuckling on the plane,
right?
He turned around, he'd look at everybody and just say, he kind of was like looking around.
Like, who's going to get a reaction out of? I got an audience, a captive audience. Nobody, the seatbelt sign is on. I am your captain of humor. Pay attention to me.
It was so adorable.
No,
and
great.
Then he'd giggle when when other people would giggle. He giggled, and it's wonderful. The light of children.
Yes, I had a similar experience where a lady had a newborn that was not. I guess it wasn't a newborn. It was actually a pretty big child, maybe like 18 months old, who kicked my tray table and spilled my drink into my lap, and that was just so adorable. Yeah, and then I shot up and I went back to the to the galley, and I asked the flight attendants if they had any napkins, and they said yeah, what happened? I said the lady sitting next to me, her child kicked my drink into my lap, and there's like a pool on the seat, and they said, oh, is that your wife? And I said, yeah, that's how I refer to my wife, as that lady with her kid. I said, no, I'm not. She's a complete stranger. I said, I don't know her. And so, anyways, but the whole time, I'm wearing like my Moody shirt because I'm going out for a Moody conference and stuff like that. And it's like that's good for Christians to realize that we're representing someone everywhere we're at, right? And so regardless of what my sinful nature may or may not have wanted to do in that moment, it was like, listen, that's a tough situation to be in, to be a mother. She was by herself with her kid. Right. Like, oh my gosh, like it's so hard. So it's like, grace, right? Treat others the way that you want to be treated. So cleaned up the seat and went on. And
I think that's a good way to close off, because that's the calling today. Treat people like you want to be treated.
There we go.
It's a good way to end as we talk about our calling and had a fun Wednesday together on the Mid-Morning Show Coffee Break. Enjoy your day.